You know how between Vijay Mallya, Nirav Modi and Mehul Choksi, over 18,000 crore rupees is owed to Indian banks and the centre? Well, how about this news for you that we're breaking here earlier today? Over 40% of that amount has been transferred back to the banks and the central government after proceeds have been sold from recoveries of properties and bank accounts of these three fraudsters. It's the big paisa wapsi of India's biggest thieves. 40% of money defrauded by fugitive Vijay Mallya, Nirav Modi and Mehul Choksi have been returned by the Enforcement Directorate to the banks and the government. It's been recovered by the ED and transferred back. The agency has transferred attached assets to public sector banks that suffered a loss due to the fraud committed by these fraudsters. Our next report tells you more. This one by Munish Pandey.
They lived lives of total luxury, lived off money filched from banks, fattened their pockets and ran away from India. One is in jail in London, one still lives life king size, and one tries to hide from India on a Caribbean island. The holy Indian trinity of fraud has been hit where it really hurts, and their ill-gotten gain has caught up with them big time. From luxury properties to luxury vehicles to bank accounts and more. India's Enforcement Directorate has announced that not only have these assets been seized, but a significant share, amounting to over 9,300 crore rupees, has been transferred back to public sector banks and the central government. In simple terms, at least 40% of defrauded public money is back with the banks and the government now. The total amount defrauded by Vijay Mallya, Nirav Modi and Mehul Choksi is 22,585.83 crore rupees, out of which properties worth 18,170 crore rupees have been attached by the Enforcement Directorate. The State Bank of India, one of the central banks defrauded, has received over 6,600 crore rupees. The Debts Recovery Tribunal has sold shares worth over 5,800 crore rupees of United Breweries Limited that were earlier attached under the anti-money laundering law. A further 800 crore rupees is expected to be recovered by June 25th. The Enforcement Directorate has made a scathing pronouncement on its actions, indicating that it's unearthed the myriad web of domestic and international transactions and stashing of assets abroad, irrevocably proving that Mallya, Nirav and Choksi used dummy entities controlled by them for rotation and siphoning off the funds provided by the banks.
The actions unveiled today by the Enforcement Directorate mean a sizable 40% of the total loss to the bank have been handed over to the banks. A huge step forward in reversing the monumental fraud committed by India's most wanted runaway tycoons.
The fraudulent trio continue to cover abroad, refusing to face Indian law. The king of good times fights tooth and nail from a luxurious mansion in England. Nirav Modi is behind bars, but fighting his extradition. And Mehul Choksi twists and turns on an Atlantic island. As the hunt for the defrauders continues, they'll be sleeping a lot less, knowing that the one thing that matters, perhaps the most to them, their money, is evaporating. Bureau Report, India Today.
So it's payback time for fraudster Vijay Mallya, the fat cat sitting in London and pretending like he's done no wrong and that he's made an offer to the government. The man who's taken all that money, buzzed off, left his employees here to suffer, sits over there and pretends like all is well. Here's what really hurts, Mr. Mallya. Your money is being returned to the banks. Defrauded 17 banks of 9,000 crore rupees, fled India like a coward in March 2016 to evade Indian law. Current status due for extradition, but has appealed against it. He's lawyered up He's got the resources. He still has money to pay for all those lawyers, but this is going to hurt him. Nirav Modi, charged accused of 13,000 crore rupees PNB scam. The coward fled India in January 2018 to evade Indian law. Current status has appealed against extradition. The good news is he's been behind bars for many, many months now, and hopefully he will lose this extradition case. Mehul Choksi, no introduction necessary. He's the guy pretending to be in a wheelchair, charged accused of 13,000 crore rupee PNB scam like his nephew. Nirav Modi fled India like a coward in January 2018, bought himself Antiguan citizenship. Current status, deportation case in Dominica. We've exposed his girlfriend, his dirty dealings there. His wife says one thing, his lawyers say another. He tries to gain sympathy by sitting in a wheelchair. Well, all his property has been seized and a lot of the proceeds have been returned to the banks. This is what hurts these people, ladies and gentlemen. The fraudsters who stole public money, tried to evade Indian law, went off abroad like cowards. The only way to hurt them is by taking away their money, because nothing matters more to them than their assets. And that's what has happened.